Welcome back, everyone. We're gonna try to finish this game off. Ooh. You know what? I'm not even gonna try. We're just gonna do the next level, which is where we get to be Giant Clank. This game's gonna be so much fun now. I actually have the weapon that's gonna assist me through all this. Now I have a Hydro Pack. Judas. Oh. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight, rising up to the challenge of our rivals. Ooh, I think I'm almost there. A new record. Pretty sure this is something that I already have, but again. I just love this game. This game's so cheeky sometimes. I need the disguise thing in order to do that part, so I'm not even gonna try. Okay. I think we should keep talking about the man himself. Abraham Lincoln. Now keep in mind, as of the recording of this is about a day after from my last recording, so I kind of forgot what we were talking about with Abraham Lincoln. I'm gonna guess it was about the election of 1860 that led him to even be the nominee. Now, first and foremost, this is a hotly contested election because pretty much every single southern state was gonna not vote for Lincoln. In fact, they actually kept him off ballots, which is a little bit funny because pretty much every single northern state ended up voting for Abraham Lincoln. Now this is where it gets tricky because in that particular election, I think they did attempt to do a lot of the same things that they did with, say,
Precisely.
Andrew
Had I
Jackson.
known Drek was behind this, I never would have done it.
Is there anything we can do?
Well, if you'll volunteer to be enlarged, you may be able to stop those mechs long enough for me to sabotage this machine.
And then you will change me back?
I've never tried that, but in theory, yes.
And I think in order to actually understand that, you do need to understand, at least to a certain degree, what was even happening, because he goes against a bunch of different people, including 2 Democrats, by the way. Ironically, his contemporary at the time, Stephen Douglas, John C. Breckinridge. Although I think he actually specifically was not a Democrat. He was specifically a Southern Democrat. I find that very interesting. And then a couple other candidates, I think. Even Millard Fillmore had his name thrown in the ring too, just for good measure. Boom. Fire missiles. I love Big Clank. Big Clank ain't got nothing on me. But that becomes a contested election because he doesn't win the popular vote. He does win the most votes, and because they try to do the whole vote split thing again, they tried to make basically a constitutional crisis. In which case, they tried to make sure that pretty much anyone who ran was going to have a better shot at defeating Lincoln, or at least make things a little more difficult. But the problem is that he ended up winning an overwhelming majority of the votes, electorally speaking. So everything they try to do to keep him off ultimately ends up leading to him winning.
Well done.
Now, you're probably asking yourself how he even got to this position, where it goes from him to,
I've recalibrated the controls to allow only
or it goes from Fremont to him. That is a complicated question because it largely has to do with like a big debate that he ended up doing. At least that's part of it. And I think Republicans saw, as a political party, saw that he was kind of like the future. And ultimately they just capitalized on it, really more than anything else. Putting in the newspapers basically just like, oh, this young whippersnapper, Abraham Lincoln, defeating Miller, or whatever, I forgot what his name is, his Illinois contemporary, Stephen Douglas, I think, in a debate that ended up boosting a lot of his social credit. He was always a good speaker. That's one thing that was an absolute undeniable reality with Abraham Lincoln, was the man could talk. He could talk stories around you, left and right. Like, if any books agree on anything, it's the fact that this dude loved to talk. He just would not stop talking, actually, if you want to be brutally honest. Now this part, I have to go to another planet to get a disguise thing. And I think I have to race again.
This is starting to become annoying. I'm not sure why I bother with you incompetent idiots. All right, I'll try this one more time. You are my most elite troops. I'm sending you down to the planet's surface to destroy those troublemakers. Now go.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
You have to destroy
So
Gadget Bomb to
basically,
get rid of
this is
them.
around 1856-57. So Republicans have, to a certain degree, largely established themselves as a political party, and one that's growing and rising within the North. And this is because they are specifically the anti-slave party, and they have a bunch of very interesting candidates. And a lot of very interesting people, but they don't have like a particular voice, someone that is, you know, the guy, the head honcho. They're still looking for that guy, and lo and behold, you know, they do have one that's right in their back pocket. So you do have to understand that, you know, around this particular point in time, they're basically kind of just looking at everything and looking at everyone largely. And this means looking at every single senatorial candidate, congressional candidate, House candidate. Come on. And just basically like, okay, who has a voice? Who's someone that is actually doing the things that are needed and necessary? And one of these particular individuals was Abraham Lincoln, who I think at this time he's running for the Senate against Stephen Douglas. I think that the reason why they were debating each other was because of the issues of slavery, etc., but also because they were actually fighting for a congressional seat. Do I even need to do this one? I don't think I actually need to do this part. I kind of don't want to. So I think it's just more gadget stuff. I probably should, but we'll see. Because honestly, there's like, I'm literally near the end of this game. Especially with this Rhino gun, I'm going to be able to beat this game properly within the hour. If this isn't the last part, the next part absolutely will be the last part. You get to see the most touching moment in video game history. Oh. Well, Douglas, Lincoln, they're doing their thing for the right reason. They're in debate. We think people should see the forum between North and South, and in particular, as I've just stated, one thing that Abraham Lincoln, above all else, was always good for, without a shred of a doubt, is a great orator and a speaker that can always talk. And this led to some good and some bad. That can be some good. It can be good and bad. It just depends on your perspective. But in this particular case, he's just a good, follower of ideals, speeches. Man could spit words, which was always something that I think helped him and kind of hurt Stephen Douglas. Stephen Douglas, who unfortunately isn't looked on very fondly in history. I don't know if that's completely fair or not. He's a smart man, but also someone who I think didn't understand the breadth of his own popularity. I actually think he ends up winning the seat that Abraham Lincoln and him are going for, but completely misinterprets the realities of him actually losing or winning that particular seat, thinking that he's popular and that he has a lot more vigor than I think he thinks he does. Because when the election of 1850 does, or 1860 actually does go, I think he only wins like 12 votes, and like it's kind of like, ooh, maybe you ain't it, bro, Come on. Oh, come on, people. What the heck is wrong with this game? There we go. That's what I'm trying to do. There's 2 OPs in battle. I love it. Makes every single encounter just so fun. Just automatic kill. Keep firing. Give me more ammo for my rhino gun, people. But this game won't. This game wants me to earn it. Yeah. You ain't got nothing on me, man. I can do this all day. But Republicans do see him as someone who ends up getting a lot of notoriety, ends up getting a lot of popularity. Because I think he's speaking at the heart of a bunch of issues that are permeating around that particular time, specifically slave power. I think the Dred Scott decision is around this particular time, and that was a particularly big issue. And I think he was just on the campaign trail all over the state of Illinois, campaigning about these ideas, wins a lot of influence, a lot of power. Constantly, I think he and like Stephen. The reason why I point out the debate with Stephen Douglas is because I think they ended up debating each other at least 5 or 6 times. And okay, I gotta focus because I really don't want to have to do this like 15 times. So far, not a good start. Dreadful. Really? Come on, fam. Okay. Sneak tag. Sneak tag. Ah! Oh, come the frick on right now. See, I call shenanigans and stuff like this. I hit a pebble and I automatically get capsized, and I'm like, this isn't happening. This isn't realistic. This ain't real life. I know I'm close to the first place guy. I don't know how close I am though. Stack these weapons? I can. Watch out for these cracks though. Oh, come on, bro. Where are you? Cannot be that far ahead. Seeing these boxes break, tell me this guy's gonna win already. How the heck did I get second place? No, that basically means I need to get at least like 300. Or not 300, under 2 minutes probably. Alright, so I need to focus because this is already a terrible run so far. Cheeky bastard. See, you're right here. Oh, you might escape from that one. And if you do, I'll call it shenanigans. This game's just trying to help you cheat. You sick bastard. Haha. Ah, that's satisfying. My goal is to try and get this under 2 minutes now. Or at least like 35 seconds a lap. Or 40 seconds a lap. Well, I'm making horrible time. By now I need to hit a specific threshold. I just forgot what my threshold was supposed to be. Okay. I guess what I'm trying to say is when it comes to this particular election, understand that, you know, it's not like they were going in with, like, okay, let me also start by saying this. I think if you want to be honest about history and have a fair view and perspective of things, I think there needs to be a real discussion about, you know, how these political parties are, and how they were viewed and seen. And Republicans back then were like radical progressives. They were trying to do things that were very shady, and I think if you want to be honest in terms of history, oh, Ratchet. I think if you want to be honest in terms of history, then I think Republicans don't want people and should not have people remember this particular point in time in history, because they were seen as the insane party kind of trying to destroy America in a lot of ways, and were viewed very negatively because they were very extreme, not in just the ideas of slavery, but do understand, which is a real concern, and was a real concern, was they pushed a lot of things that would ultimately come back to bite them in the butt eventually. You know, most notably and specifically, I would say the issues of aggressive, you know, and excessive federal budgets and the expansion of the federal government, which, see, this is pretty much all I need, so I don't think I need to go and do the other level. Yeah, I'm not even gonna, because I think I can purchase something, but I'm just gonna end up purchasing that thing again, and I'd rather just keep going and do this game right and finish this game. But that's what they were back then. I think a lot of people had, you know, fears of it. And I think a lot of people reached a point within the context of the country where it's like, sure, they had fears, but it's not like the federal government was doing anything to begin with, and something needed to happen and change to actually, you know, bring forth something positive. And it wasn't just the issue of slavery, it was just Democrats had just gotten too lazy, to be honest with you, too commonplace, and there was no real opposition. And I think a lot of people would rather put their faith in, I guess, ideological rebels rather than rather than just continue the status quo, if that makes any sense. Okay, here we go. Hello, my fellow robot. My fellow robot companion. My name is R2 Robot as well. Hello there. This gun is way too overpowered for this game. Just gonna keep walking like a robot. Yeah, just do understand that there are reasons why these people went the way they did. There's a reason why things happen, and I think to better understand why these things happen, you know, instead of looking at these people as just racist monsters and, you know, backwards people, you do have to try to understand why they vote a particular way, understand the mood of the country, the setting of the country, and, you know, it's not like but it's also like people who try to defend the South in a lot of these ways also refuse to actually articulate the point that, yeah, it's because the South got so sedentary, so lazy, so inept in a lot of ways, and Democrats in particular got so lazy, so sedentary, that they thought that, you know, their own hubris was actually like because it's the same thing, just like with the British elections that are happening right now, where it's not like they're actually popular. Sure, one particular party is winning and benefiting, but it's not because they're winning because of high voter turnout and they're getting all these votes and people are actually doing it. It's because the other party is sucking so badly, doing so poorly, that they literally are only winning just because they're not them, effectively. It's like, do you want Hitler or do you want Stalin? And it's like, I really, ooh, whoa, big robot. It's like, I really don't want either. Alright, but you have to choose one. And it's like, well, if you're gonna give me those options, well, yeah. Just want to make sure they turn around. Point being, no option's really gonna honestly be the one to do it for you. It's just unfortunately the reality of the situation. It is just how it is. It's just. Oh no! Crap. Hello, my fellow robot companion. Explosion. Sorry guys, I almost lost my cool here.
That should do it.
The great story.
Mom?
Clank's mother. A very touching reunion.
Mom? I know. Hey, look! A sister!
My fellow Blah, our synthetic world is now fully functional and ready for habitation. However, there is one small obstacle in our way. This pathetic lump of a planet. Due to some blunder of fate, it happens to occupy the galaxy's most perfect orbit. But no more. Behold, the Deplanetizer, the most powerful laser ever created. Soon, we'll move the Deplanetizer into place just above the planet's surface. I will, of course, be on hand to press the button that will blow this mud ball to smithereens. No one will even miss it. See you then.
Going back home.
Are you all right?
He
Long story short again,
to pay.
Republicans ultimately end up winning.
Shouldn't have taken me this long to see.
He doesn't campaign. He has the Republican Party, who's, like I
guess
said, radical. They are energetic. He's got youth movement behind him too.
I always knew it was there.
He ends up winning the election. Ends up being sent to various different places under disguise to avoid being assassinated. Oh, Clank. Clank's mom. I really do wish Clank's mom made, more appearances in this game. Just a computer. I would just be like, yeah. And understand that the looming civil war that a lot of people, although they blame Buchanan, ultimately is going to be the thing that Abraham Lincoln's going to have to deal with for the entirety of his presidency. When I mean the entirety, I mean the entirety. But anyway, Abraham Lincoln's in office. Which one should I do first? One of these has to deal with the swimming section. I think I do have to. Oh, it is down here actually. Yeah, I'm gonna do this part and then I'll stop this part right now. So, let's just say for brevity's sake, because I think I do want to end this Let's Play with a Ratchet Clank largely with finishing up with Lincoln, and then we'll get to like Andrew Johnson and all them, who is a person in history that I think will fascinate more people, more so than anything else. And I think people will understand why he does a lot of the things that he does when it comes to Abraham Lincoln. So, let me start by saying this. During his presidency, it should be noted, at the very least in the beginning, I think Abraham Lincoln didn't quite take as seriously the situation that was brewing, which largely led to, I think, a lot more tensions, especially during crap. Right. Oh my god. Which ultimately led to even more tensions during the rise of the Civil War. In fact, I think I forgot who said it, but I think Mr. Tecumseh himself, Mr. Sherman, took a bunch of issues with Abraham Lincoln and how he was legislating and governing, and not realizing that a lot of things were happening. What is this again? I got the code bot. Yeah, I forgot what the code bot does. Like literally for the first probably 3 or 4 months, I mean, like, Confederates are mobilizing. Abraham Lincoln's like, okay, we're gonna go off vibes, basically, bro, you know? I mean, they weren't really calling for, aggressive conscription or anything like that. He was more like just trying to make sure, hey, I'm not trying to give it to slaves, I'm just trying to, do my due diligence as president, and I want to make sure everyone else, I am not trying to get rid of slavery. Which people need to understand that's literally not what he was campaigning on and whatnot. All he wanted to do was preserve the Union and just make sure that, that things were running very smoothly. And I'll be fair, I think most of it was just because, you know, he's trying to be the president of the United States for, well, everyone, and not just Northerners, you know? So I think that's a fair statement for him. But this led to a bunch of different issues. Fort Sumter, a bunch of states seceding from the Union, and this led to a military constitutional crisis in a lot of ways. But for right now, we're going to end this part right here. I think we're going to end the game on the next part, so please stay tuned for that. God bless. Y'all rock. Have a good one.